Good morning. It's Thursday, y'all, the 15th of May, 2025. We are one day away from being, well, technically, we kind of are in the middle of the month now. So it's going to be going down towards the end of the month already. I can't believe it. Just crazy. I just wish time would slow down, but it just seems like it goes faster and faster and faster. The older we get, I've said this several times, but it just amazes me that how fast time goes. So I hope you're in church last night. Um, our church, we continue to look at the history of the church ages, and some good information was covered last night by Brother Jonathan. He was talking about the Wesley brothers and Charles and John Wesley. So if you can, we have a playlist at our church YouTube channel, Liberty Baptist Church of Ada. It's under church history, one of the playlists. And last night's has not been updated in that playlist yet. Because Jake, the one that does the YouTube channel, was not there last night. He's the one that I've showed how to do playlists, create playlists and things. So he wasn't there last night. Neither was my pastor. They were out golfing for the last 3 or 4 days, so getting some time away. All right, so we're going to get into Galatians chapter 4, but we're going to look at some practical things first here in chapter 4, verse 1. And Galatians is a transition from being a servant to a son of God. A servant to a son of God. See, there's a difference between the two. You'd think it'd be flipped. You become a son of God, then you become a servant. Yes, in a way you do. But before, when we're talking a servant, we were talking about people that were under the law. They were servants to the law. They had to obey the law, every jot and every tittle of the law for their salvation. And they had to have faith, and they had to do sacrifices, and they had to endure to the end. All this just to make it to paradise, Abraham's bosom in the Old Testament. And if they offended in just one, they were found guilty of them all. And if they did not get that right before they died, then they would go to hell. And so where people get eternal security issues with is they try to put you back under the law. We're not under the law now, we're under grace. It is a difference between the two. And scripture actually says you're no longer under the law, but under grace. So if we were under the law, yes, we could lose our salvation. However, we're not under the law anymore. We are under the grace of God. Now, chapter 4, start there in verse 1. Now I say that the heir, as long as he is a child, differeth nothing from a servant, though he be Lord of all, but is under tutors and governors until the time appointed of the Father. Even so, we, when we were children, were in bondage under the elements of the world. But when the fullness of the time was come, God sent forth his Son, made of a woman, made under the law, to redeem them that were under the law, that we might receive the adoption of sons. In verse 6, and because ye are sons, God has sent forth his Spirit of his Son into your hearts, crying, Abba, Father. Now, that's just the introductory verse, but I want to do something practically speaking with verse 1. As we raise our children, we should not be raising them to be equal with an adult. We should be likening them unto like a servant. Why? Because we're training them up to obey authorities, obey rules, obey their bosses, obey those that are in authority over them, that they can live a quiet and peaceable life. And we should raise them up to be servants, to serve one another. But we're in a society today that nobody really wants to be a servant, and everybody wants to kind of be the leader and the taskmaster. And so what we have is a bunch of roosters running around there, not a lot of chickens. Okay, so I just want to practically look at that for just a second. When I raise my boys, and full transparency, they have nothing to do with me anymore. But I try to raise them to respect older people, to be respectful to those over them. I taught my boys, both of them, to say sir and ma'am. And I even had some people that would push back on me, say you shouldn't raise your children to do that. That's being forceful with them. No, it's raising them to be respectful, to honor those that are older than them. Now, is there some people that are older than us that don't really deserve honor? Yes, but it doesn't mean you not be respectful with them. We should be respectful. I've even, as an adult, when I'm talking to a younger person, I'll say, yes, sir. No, no, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. And they're like, dude, you're older than me. You know what it is? It's just a sign of respect. I like to say Mr. and Mrs. went to the older generation. Here's another one. My pastor. His name's Donnie Ayers, but I don't call him Donnie. I call him Pastor Ayers. Why? He is over me as my pastor, my under shepherd. So I give him respect to that office, that he is my pastor. Now, are we friends? Yes, we are friends outside of church, but he's still my pastor. And I still call him pastor when we're out. I don't call him brother. I don't call him Don, ever by his first name. Nope, I call him pastor. Why? Because that is a reverence to him. Now, I'm not putting him above anybody else. I'm just showing that is a sign of respect towards who he is. And likened to this, if we raise our children to, going back to the children, if we raise our children to be servants, they're going to have more of a servant heart when they go in to adulthood and they go into life, and they're going to live a more quiet and peaceable life among those around us. Anyway, so I just wanted to look at that practically speaking. We don't raise our children like that anymore. And we should, because you raise your children like that, they're raised up to be good adults. And it's hard once you become an adult to try to teach somebody to be a servant, to be able to minister to others. Anyway, but back to this. There's just a little practical application. Now, I'm not going to go any further today because I really want to study this passage here a little bit more, and we'll get into it tomorrow. But as we go in through chapter 4 here, we're going to be looking at what we go from being a servant to the law to being a son of God and an heir. So, all right, that's all I got for you today. Just a short little devotion. Got some things to do. Pray. I'm going out really fervently looking for a car today, and pray I find the one that's within my budget and that can take care of my needs. That's what I'm asking for today. Pray for one another as well. That's all I got. If you're watching this on Facebook, make sure you go over to my YouTube channel, Broken Road Journey, or Broken Road channel. If you're watching this and like and subscribe to the channel, click on notifications. If you are watching this on YouTube, please like the video, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and click on notifications. All right, Lord willing, we'll talk to tomorrow.